Hi, I'm Magnus Walker and top of the morning to Everhouse. I've lived in the Arts District in downtown LA since '92. I acquired this building in 2000. We didn't ask people's opinions, but people thought we were crazy buying this former industrial building, comprising of 3 separate but connected buildings. The oldest building was built in 1902, the building next to it was built in the 20s, and what became my garage, a former machine shop, was built in the 50s. You know, this is obviously a big 2-story brick blank canvas. Having lived in a loft for 6, 7, 8 years prior to owning my own building, the goal always was to create a live-work space. What we did was create this space where upstairs was sort of based around a mini Hertz Castle English stately home, mixed in with some mid-century modernism, 60s, 70s furniture pieces, which when I describe it like that, it makes no sense. How do these styles coexist together? Sort of English, Gothic, exotic, with mid-century modern pop art from the 50s and 60s. So it's high-end, low-end, and it's mixing things together. But it's back to people liking to collect. You know, it's not just cars, guitars, and watches. And for me, it's a juxtaposition of mixing styles together. The other side was more pop art with some classic, but very, very livable. This is an IKEA table in front of me. I'm sat on obviously something a little bit different. So it's just having fun, doing things that inspire me, whether it's architectural, whether it's automotive, whether it's design. One of my favorite places is what we call the garden, but in reality, that's an old industrial railroad spur. You got to remember, up to the 70s, deliveries were still made to the building via railroad. So when we bought the building, that was an old, abandoned, disused alley with a lot of junk. And everything that you see in there, we planted almost 25 years ago. And nothing was over 8 feet tall. Now it's this peaceful, tranquil, mystical garden that when the sun comes over that wall at 7 a.m. in the morning, it's just magical. I describe myself as a lone wolf one-man army, and by that I mean I'm solo. There's not a PR team, management agency behind me, marketing brand, pushing me to collaborate with other people. All the collaborations I've ever done have happened organically, usually by people visiting me. The connection really is the car. It's a great equalizer that has brought people into my space. In 2016, I got approached by Hot Wheels. This is probably every kid's dream come true, to design a car with Hot Wheels. Well, 8 years later, that first car that came out in 2016 has led to over 30 signature cars that I've collaborated on with Hot Wheels. But the greatest thing is having my own personal cars become a 1/64th scale. There's nothing better than giving them away to kids, because that's the future of everything that's car related. And there's a Hot Wheels story for everyone from 2 to 100. But perhaps the coolest collaboration I've done to this date is what I'm wearing here. I got an email from Pelly at Nike who said, hey, we'd love to collaborate with you on our pro skater doing a shoe together. I said, sounds great, but I got to tell you, I don't skate. He said, it doesn't matter, we like your aesthetic. Long story short, that was how this sneaker, which was based around my car and built to distress just like my car did, came to be. And built to be worn. You see, I've worn out the sole. I walk a lot. My last name's Walker. I got to live up to my surname. I can get 2,000 miles out of a pair of these. What I love about living in downtown LA in the neighborhood is, like I say, I can sit in the garden and go get a coffee next door. Everything's located within a mile of every freeway. I'm a car guy, I like to drive. My favorite road, Angeles Crest Highway. I can go rip over the 6th Street Bridge in one of my favorite cars. So, you know, being in LA, you've got ocean, desert, mountain from a driving point of view. So for me, it's kind of like the perfect place to be, and this is the epicenter of it. And without this building, I wouldn't have been able to house everything that you see. Right after 9/11, I got a phone call which sort of changed my life. It was a phone call from a location company asking if I'd be interested in renting the building for a music video. It had never occurred to me. The only reason I tell you about that is that film location business revenue allowed me to collect more Porsches than I ever thought I would own. Long story short, the first thing we ever shot was a Missy Elliott video, which started at 6 a.m. on a Friday morning and ended at 4 a.m. on a Saturday morning, 22 hours later. And I'll be honest with you, at the end of that long day, I said I'll never do that again. But when the dust had settled and we realized how much money we'd made in that one day of filming, because back then music videos paid a lot of money, so that was how I accidentally fell into the film location business. And by that I mean everything from small budget still shoots to big budget TV commercial music videos and reality shows. I always say humans like to collect, whether it's cars, guitars, stamps, trains, flowers, books, whatever it may be. For me, it's cars and guitars and watches. I grew up as a kid watching a lot of American TV shows. You know, Rockford Files, Chips, Kojak, Dukes of Hazzard, Evel Knievel. Inspiration's all around, I throw it in the blender. When it comes to cars, basically pulling from the glory years of my favorite form of motorsport, the late 60s, early 70s. So the signature touches that I put to my car, I wasn't looking to duplicate or emulate like a Golf livery or Martini livery. And that was the greatest thing about the building, was creating a live-work space where I didn't commute to work. If you woke up at 3 a.m. in the morning with an idea, I would just go downstairs to the Atelier. You know, by the end of that day, the garment would be done. So it was super creative, super inspiring, all under one roof. So having lived in the downtown LA Arts District for 32 years, I've seen the transformation into what has become sort of the new Venice, the new Culver City, the new media area. So I'm not saying I had a crystal ball. What drew me to this area was just big open space. That was it. It was pretty simple. There's always different inspiration. The light hits it in different places at different times of the day. So I'm Magnus Walker. Thanks for tuning in to Everhouse. When you get a chance, get out and drive pedal to the metal. Cheers and rock on.
Subscribe to the Everhouse channel by clicking on the logo to receive updates on our latest episodes.